Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Monday, and all of our guests today, including Brendan Gaunce, standing by. Sponsored by Passant Motors. Don't love your vehicle? Let Passant Motors help you get into one you do with a large inventory and the highest trade-in values. Learn more at basantmotors.com. Very quickly, Ryan, you had an update when it comes to Vezina Trophy winners on teams that didn't make the playoffs.
Oh. Yeah, based on what I've seen, courtesy In Goal magazine with our friend, by the way, Kevin Woodley there. In 2012-2013, which was a shortened season, Sergei Bobrovsky of then the Columbus Blue Jackets won the Vezina Trophy, and they missed the playoffs. The Jackets did.
Oh, so an apology.
I apologize.
Do you want to write it and mail it over to me, or do you want to just say it? Jeez.
I just said it. I apologize, although it doesn't really count because it was a shortened season. Speaking of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Apology accepted.
Speaking of the Columbus Blue Jackets, we're going to be joined by Brendan Gaunce. Yes, he's back in the National Hockey League, and is he ever? 5 points in 10 games. Drafted 26th overall by the Canucks in 2012. Spent 7 years in the Canucks organization, time with the Canucks and with Utica. Went on to Boston, then to Sweden. Back in the NHL now with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Brendan joins us now. Brendan, thanks so much for doing this, sir. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you guys doing?
Very well.
Good.
5 points in 10 games with Columbus so far. What's the experience been like, Brendan, being back in the NHL?
It's a weird feeling because obviously I've been there before for a couple of years, but I think this time I just have a different feeling mentally, physically. It just feels a little bit different, feels a little bit more comfortable, and it feels great to be back.
What's your role with the Blue Jackets?
Right now it's bringing energy. It's playing against one of the top lines to obviously try and create a good matchup for our top six, and just kind of play the way I play.
You spent 7 years in the Canucks organization, on to Boston. You played one game with Boston there, then over to Sweden. What was the Swedish experience like? Was it valuable to you, Brendan?
Yeah, I think in more ways than one. Obviously, on the ice, it's a different game. It's on the big ice, so you have to skate more. You have to kind of keep your speed a lot more. In the NHL, you kind of sometimes you can glide around and get to spaces, but on the big ice, there's obviously more space to cover, so you kind of always have to keep your feet moving. And then I think personally, for my fiance and I, it was a great experience to kind of get out of the hockey mecca that is North America. Just kind of be there for us, kind of selfishly be there and enjoy what we want to enjoy. Obviously, hockey comes first, but there's a ton of other things we did in Sweden that we'll remember forever.
Brendan, I want to ask you about mental toughness. First-round draft pick, didn't work out in Vancouver. You go to Europe, American Hockey League, you're bouncing around. What was it that kept you, it didn't give up on that NHL dream?
I think as you get older, you kind of step back and look and realize what was the reason. You kind of look, what was the reason I left the NHL? What was the reason I couldn't play there with Vancouver? And I think for me, it was self-confidence. It was something. It's such a confident league, and there's not much difference between the NHL and the AHL. Obviously, the top guys are the top guys. They're the best in the world for a reason, but it's a self-confidence. It's believing in your own game. It's believing in the way you play and not trying to change your game for the team, but bringing your game that can help kind of change the team. So you just step back and you enjoy the game, and you hope you get back there.
Do you think you were treated fairly in Vancouver, Brendan?
Yeah, I mean, I as you guys know, and as every single fan in Vancouver knows, that I didn't score many goals, and I didn't contribute offensively the way I wanted to. And at the time, maybe I thought I wasn't treated fairly, but when you look back and you kind of give yourself an honest assessment, I know I could have brought more to the table, and I think it all just came from internal stuff.
When you were in Sweden, you had a good year, and all of a sudden Columbus comes knocking, and all of a sudden your NHL career is revived. Talk about Sweden, how important it was for you on the ice to do the stuff you could do.
I think I've said this in a couple other interviews, but you play in the AHL for a couple of years in a row, and you find out what you're good at, and you kind of understand the parts of the game that you can succeed in and do well in. But I think for me, to get uncomfortable, to understand that my game was good enough for the NHL, I needed to try something different. I didn't want to be on a taxi squad for the year. I didn't think that was great for my development or, quite frankly, my mental aspect. And I just thought Sweden was a great choice. Obviously, you've seen a lot of NHL players come out of there, a lot of first rounders. So there's something to be said that the NHL really values that league. And I went over to a team that obviously I kind of knew about a little bit because of Elias. And then I ended up playing with his brother last year. So there was some people I kind of knew in the organization and thought it was a great chance.
Did you doubt yourself at any point, Brendan?
For sure. Right after I was sent down, I can't remember the year. It might have been 2017, 2018 from Vancouver. You let other people's thoughts on you kind of creep into what you think about yourself a little bit too much, maybe when you're younger. I obviously, because of that, I thought I wasn't good enough. I had a lot of soul searching to do outside of the rink, and I think it took me until I got to Providence to really understand that, one, hockey's secondary in life, and two, that I am good enough. I just need a chance again.
Yeah, you mentioned in Sweden you really focused on moving your feet. Is that the element or the number one element of your game that you've worked on?
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't think I was ever slow. I just think I was always trying to read plays rather than just kind of playing off instinct. I was trying to do too much. I was trying to be too sheltered and not make mistakes rather than forcing teams to kind of worry about me and forcing teams to make mistakes because of the pressure I'm applying. And I think going to Europe and having to skate that extra 2-3 strides every time you have to forecheck someone or on the back check, having to do that, it kind of just opened my eyes to the ability I can have over here.
28 years old. Your contract expires at the end. Sorry, 27 years old. Sorry, Brendan. I should know better than that at the age I am. Hey, so contract expires at the end of this season. What's in your future?
I mean, I think I'm an NHL player. I feel like I've made a pretty big contribution since I've been here. I feel like I can fit on a team and play a certain role and be a good teammate, a good locker room guy. And whether that happens or not with Columbus, I've loved my time here. I think I've been able to play my game and get confident in who I am as a person as well. And I can't say enough good things about the organization. So obviously I'm enjoying the time right now.
Hey, Brendan, before we let you go, there are Russian players on the Columbus roster. How comfortable is it for them right now from what you can see?
I think it's hard for me to judge. I've just met them, so I'm not exactly sure of their personalities on a normal day or what's going on right now in the world. So it's tough for me to kind of give that answer. But what I've seen of them so far is I've really enjoyed all their company.
Brendan, all the best. A lot of people pulling for you here in Vancouver. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.